Here's a 1994 Detroit Black Journal conversation about improving math and science scores in Detroit schools.
That means that our kids aren't doing very well in math and science. At least that's what it seems to say to me, which is why I raised the point that there must be something going on in our classroom, or something that is not going on in our classroom that's impacting these young people. And perhaps we need to talk about what it means to have either students who are actively and aggressively involved in these subjects because they think they can do it, or why they are shying away from it and failing at it. Are we steering children away from it? Of course, I can understand why it may not necessarily be just a black problem, because a national survey recently showed that over 60% of people surveyed feel that science is important but have no idea what scientists do. But nonetheless, our black children are impacted. And I think that as we go into the classroom, Ms. Sanders, you a concerned mother, concerned parent involved in the schools, what do you see happening with your children at Loving Elementary School?
Okay, now with my children at Loving Elementary School, I also notice that parent involvement is always greater at the elementary level. And as students go to middle school and to the high schools, the involvement becomes less. And perhaps if the involvement was just as great as when a child started off as when he got to middle schools or high schools, the testing in science would be better. At Loving, we have a resource science center that services 7 schools, and this is where we have the hands-on, where children don't just have a textbook in high school. I talked to Mr. Khalifa earlier, and he said in his classroom, they basically just have a textbook that they learn from. But at the higher school levels, if they had resource centers for science and math, that they were allowed to have kits and various things to experiment with hands-on. Like, for instance, the elementary school children have a battery, they have a wire, and they're given a bulb, and they're able to put this together in a certain way to make the light bulb light. And this keeps their interest. And at the high school levels, perhaps if we had more such hands-on things, then they wouldn't fall back and drop so low in the science scores, because this also holds attention, whereas the class books are fine, but hands-on and actually doing basic things is better.